Hi everybody, how are we all doing? I hope we're having a good week so far. So today is Thursday the 17th of April 2014, Easter weekend, so Good Friday tomorrow, then Easter Sunday, then Easter Monday as well after that. Right, let's just crack on. Last night's episode, The Return of Arrow, and this is it, all 5 episodes, well, next 4 episodes anyway, since last night it aired. So, no breaks from now until the end of the season, yay. But The Man in the Hood yesterday was just mind-blowing, it was just splendid, it was brilliant. So this one featured 2 prominent characters, I say prominent, but they're guest characters who appeared on this show who are going to be in The Flash. Hopefully that will pick up a series come next month when CW announce their full series premieres and whatnot, and what shows are going to be appearing from September, October this year. So the 2 characters in mind were Caitlin and Cisco, aka Killer Frost, sorry, and Vibe. They had a bit of a run-in with Deathstroke. They're working at the Starling City Star Labs division. Felicity knows them pretty well after what happened with Barry, and there's even a moment where Cisco tells Felicity about Barry and a certain Iris. I'm just going to leave that there. So he basically brought Felicity's world crashing down. It was just poor lass. The beginning of the episode was pretty awesome. So this was basically Felicity's sort of first time in the field as such. I mean, we've seen her in the field, but this was like the first time which was really becoming essential to the team. And there was even one moment where Oliver says to Felicity, this was your idea. She replies, but I didn't think you would actually let me go with it. So we actually see her, help out the team. It's her, Oliver, Diggle and Sarah. They are at the Robert Queen Applied Sciences division that was appropriated by Isabel Rochev, as we all remember 2 weeks ago, when she eventually got control of the company of Queen Consolidated. And they used the skeleton key that was stolen by the Clock King, and when they used the skeleton key to break in, they destroyed the building. Okay, getting all the civilians and the security guards out of there, people that work there, getting them out of there first, but they destroyed the building because that was Slade's, that was his one source of trying to mass produce the Mirakuru for his army as such, that he's managed to get from the prison bus that we saw 2 weeks ago. But throughout the entire episode, it was just so... The movement of the episode was pretty good. It was just went from one scene to the next with pretty much no hiccups as such. Laurel, I've just got to mention Laurel. I have to admit, right, Laurel, now that she knows, it's whether or not she's able to keep the secret for herself, or should she tell someone. She came close twice to telling 2 people, and there was even a moment where she started to put 2 and 2 together, although she hasn't quite reached the answer of 4. I think she's only hit 3 at the moment, regarding Sarah. So she's starting to figure things out. And I'm sure we'll know maybe either by next week or in another couple of episodes that eventually she'll let someone know that she knows their secret or the truth about them. What else have we got? Let's quickly check. Deathstroke, when he infiltrated the layer, as it were, it was just brilliant. I tweeted, he came, he saw, he kicked their arse. It was just... all 4 of them, of Oliver, Diggle, Sarah and Felicity, all taking on Deathstroke, and he just pretty much bested them with minimal effort. It was just incredible, and this is what Deathstroke is all about. We know what Deathstroke is like, and he was there. He wasn't there to kill them or anything. He was there for a specific reason, and he was there to actually steal the skeleton key, because he now had another plan up his sleeve. Seeing as they already destroyed the Applied Science Division, he had another idea, and this is where Cisco and Caitlin come into play. We get a lovely little mention of a DC Comics character by the name of Arthur Light. I literally was like, that's Dr. Light. They just mentioned Arthur Light in this episode. So the DC universe is definitely getting bigger on Arrow. It's incredible how the show is just expanding without realising that it's expanding. I mean, they obviously realise that they are expanding, but it's just incredible how all these little hints and teasers and names are being dropped, and we're just like, what the fuck? Even Bloodhaven as well was mentioned. This was all regarding Roy, because we see what happens to Roy later on in this episode, and when Oliver confronts Slade whilst he's trying to take out use Roy's blood to give the Mirakuru to the prisoners as such, he Slade is telling Oliver how it's his fault that Roy ran away. It's his fault that Roy is in the position that he's in now. Roy looked up to Oliver. He looked up to the Hood. He was his inspiration. And we all remember that in season 1, how Roy saw the Hood as an inspiration, someone as he could look up to, someone he wanted to become, or someone he wanted to be, allies with as such. And Oliver basically, took that all away from him by telling him to leave Thea, and, because he felt that with him and Thea, she would be, in danger. So that's very interesting, which is also because what also connects this episode to next week's episode is that it pretty much focuses on Roy. The episode is titled Seeing Red, and I think that pretty much speaks for itself. And if you've seen the promo, oh my god, someone is about to get a can of epic whoop arse in their face, is all I'm going to say. So yeah, someone's going to get it. But what else did we have? Quentin Lance, poor fellow. He really he got beaten up in prison, which was not nice. To which point, Laurel, I tell you what, ever since she's come back onto the scene, she has been, I think, ever since her confrontation with Huntress, she's got this steel personality about her. She's got this hardened exterior all of a sudden, and she went up against that lady again who nearly fired her from the last episode, and she blackmailed her again. I was just so impressed. I was like, this is a side of Laurel that we have definitely not seen before, and is this a sign of things to come? That's all I'm going to say. Is this a sign of things to come? Who knows? What else have we got? Yeah, Isabel. I've got to also mention Isabel. We learn the backstory regarding Isabel Rochev and Robert Queen. Moira tells Oliver, what happened between Robert and Isabel, but then Isabel tells Oliver her side of the story regarding not just herself, but also Thea, and the fact that Robert knew that Thea was not his daughter. He already knew that Thea wasn't his daughter, but yet he raised her as if she was his own. And it's just that, I was just like, oh my god, all of these revelations coming out, it was just unbelievable. And it really puts an interesting spin on things as well. I mean, the story about Isabel, and her and Robert is not so far from the comics, because she believed that Robert was the one for her. And there was even one point in this episode where Isabel is telling Oliver that Robert nearly left his family to be with Isabel. But because Thea had a horse riding accident is why Robert stayed, even though he knew Thea was not his daughter. How you can't, oh dear, I don't know how else to put it, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. There was also a moment in the episode where Laurel was about to tell her dad who the Arrow is, but he turned around and said that he didn't want to know who it was, because And the quote that he said was, "The man under the hood isn't important." You know, it's like there's like a Batman reference there, because you remember Batman Begins, where he tells Rachel, you know, it's not who I am underneath that defines me, but what I do. It's kind of similar things there from what Quentin is telling Laurel, that it's not about who is under the hood, it's what he stands for, it's what he fights for, it's what he does. He's out there helping people. Yes, he's probably got a family, but he doesn't want to think about the fact that this is just an ordinary person. This is a guy who puts his life on the line, you know, night after night for ordinary citizens. You know, and for Quentin that speaks volumes, because he is a police officer. He knows how that feels as well, because he also puts his life on the line. I mean, yes, he was aiding and abetting with the vigilante, but now he's in prison. But he doesn't know who the hood is, and that's what he was telling Laurel. And when she asked him, does he know who his accomplice, aka Black Canary, is, he had to also say no, he didn't know, even though he knows that it is his daughter Sarah. He just could not tell Laurel. But Laurel is starting to, as I said at the beginning, she's starting to figure things out, so we'll see how all that comes into play. Back on the island, Ivo meets a grisly end, is all I'm going to say, but not without assisting or advising both Oliver and Sarah that there is in fact a cure for the Mirakuru. So, so Oliver now has work to do, because he still feels bad. He still blames himself for what happened to Slade. He wishes that he had actually did kill Slade back on the island. He wishes he had done that, because it's his fault that Slade is alive today and causing all these problems and bringing his world down around him and hurting the people that are close to him, and now he's amassing his own army, this, that and the other. Oh, dearie me. And an interesting something else happens to Isabel Rashev, which I think will come into play later on in the next few episodes. We've already seen the spoiler picture that got released a couple of weeks ago, shortly after Deathstroke aired, of a picture that appeared to be of Summer Glau in a mock sort of Ravager outfit. Ravager being Rose Wilson, who is Deathstroke's daughter. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So yeah, really looking forward to next week. Looking forward to seeing Red, and we'll see what happens from there. This weekend, of course, I will be doing another Arrow character spotlight video. So, as always, find out who I'll be speaking about. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all very soon.